So, second video on my MST CFX surgery. So originally I'm running a Bronco body from Tamiya with the V8 dummy engine, and so now I'm changing it to a Proline Sumo, which is a Suzuki Samurai, and I want the stuff to look like one kind of a Roadkill kind of crazy project with the blower sticking out of the hood and so on. And I want to design new parts as well, so I can have new parts available on the store. So the running boards that I have at the moment, I want to have more kind of a rock slider kind of thing. So those are the ones that are going now. They held on for 2 years. They were amazing. Not that they are unbreakable, but they survived really well. And I'm going to reuse a fuel cell for the receiver box. But I want to do some videos on how I paint the 3D printed parts. So maybe that can help some people, so you don't just have a red part or a black part in the car, but you know, with a little bit of model paint, it looks really good. And you'll see how to remove that. So there's one screw to remove the lid of the fuel cell. That's the receiver inside. It's just a cheapy Fly Sky receiver. And then there are two screws that are mounted directly to the rear of the CFX. I believe you have the same mounting holes in the CMX as well. And so it's just two screws to get it out, and then it's just the hassle of removing, because all the cables are going through little holes on the side of it, so it's kind of water resistant, at least it's splash proof. And so you can remove the receiver and remove the cables from it. And the rear bumper as well is going. I'm going to redesign a new bumper that's going to stick out longer, so it can stick out from the Sumo body. And I think it's just going to look different overall, different hooks, towing hooks on it, and so forth. And so yeah, that's the receiver box that's going, and I'm going to use a brand new one, exact same one, just I'm going to do a tutorial or just a short video showing how I paint them, if that can help anyone. And then the engine is going, so the old V8 is going, so I need to remove the radiator and the dummy winch, and I will install a new bumper. I'm looking on AGTs for what bumper I want to use. I'm looking for some metal bumper for like the Jimny that can have the real winch attached to it directly. And you'll see how easy it is to remove those engine blocks. It's just popping out from the brushed motor. And so that's the motor I'm using, 35 turn. Oh, good girl. All right, so fitment of the body, it's still a bit too high. I need to work on the body post at the moment. I didn't remove the body post, which I have to do if I actually want to install this ridiculously enormous 572 with the blower. And I'll mount them in the front position. At the moment they're in the second back position. That's what I use for the Bronco. And so those are going to move to the position forward. And the engine block, I need to test the fitment, because it's comically enormous for that tiny car. This should be on the X-Rail or a bigger, you know, RC four-wheel drive kind. This is a tiny chassis with a ridiculously enormous body. So I'm just gonna quickly trace where to do my cuts on the body. I'm gonna get a new one out of the box. That's the stickers, and that's the freshly printed in black PLA 572 from SDR that is going to go on. At least that was the plan, because you'll see this one, it is really too big for the project I'm doing, and the belts are sticking out way too much, so I would have to cut such a large hole. But the placement of the blower is the same as on the other engine block I'm going to use. So I'm just quickly tracing, and now I'm just measuring a little bit better the center of the hoods and a good like 50 mm wide cut, and trying to make it as straight as possible. So that's gonna be what I'm going to cut out of the Lexan. And the way I like to cut Lexan panel is usually I make that's when you see the belt is sticking out way too far in front of that. So I'm gonna probably be using that 572 with the blower, because the belt is smaller and the blower is sticking out more tall. So that's gonna help me to have only the blower out and probably none of the belt. And so yeah, like I was saying, I like to drill the corners first before I trace my cut for the Lexan. So guys, don't put your finger behind, don't drill your finger, just, take your time, drill the holes. I drills like 4 or 5 holes on each corner of the Lexan, and just take your time. Don't push too hard that it's gonna just break the Lexan or go way too far right away. And from those kind of pilot holes, I usually use an X-Acto knife or a cutter. Right now I only have this terrible cutter, and ooh, what's that handsome face. And so yeah, I just cut a lot of lines, take my time, try to be as straight as possible, because it's a Lexan body. So if you go too quickly and you screw up and you go out of the line, that's a scratch that you're never going to be able to remove from the Lexan body. So I just do a lot of pass until one of the line pop through. And once I have one line cut all the way through, I can just push the whole thing and it just cuts itself out. So just take your time when you're cutting, Lexan body. Try not to hurt, try not to screw it. And so that's the cuts, and we're just going to do a test fit with the chassis on, see how it looks, and that's going to be it for today. So check it out. Oh yeah, that's Roadkill. Pretty good. See you next time. Bye bye.